Hi, my name is Morgan, or Julian, or Moglian for both, and I wanted to talk about the game Once Human. Hey guys, before we step into the behemoth that is this video, I do have to warn you, this is my first time using this microphone that attaches wirelessly to my iPhone. This is my first time using my iPhone as an actual camera. I have a whole setup as well. That I've set up for the first time with a green screen, lights, and all that shit. So this is my first time trying any of that. The one thing that I want to warn you about specifically is the audio, because I'm not quite sure how to use mics yet. I'm still very new to content creation and getting better at it. So there are often times where I have the microphone close to my mouth and it's really loud. I have tried to numb down the loudness, the sharpness, but I will warn you that this video should be most likely on a lower volume because it's kind of sharp, but yeah. So I just wanted to warn you before we even step foot into this video. Anyways, enjoy. And my experience with it and the shit I want to yap about before the next season comes out. It was my fixation for the past couple of weeks, and by that I mean it took over my life for hours at a time. When we first considered getting into the game, it is when I got COVID from a concert, and I was during my quarantine before I could go back to work. My dear friend Michael wanted to play the free game Once Human. It had been on our roster for a while. I hadn't been in the video game mood for anything recently. It was almost like a burnout with video games. Nothing was really giving me that normal kick of dopamine when I played a game. And of course I wanted to give it a try. I mean, it's free and I get to play it with my friends. I mean, it feels like a win-win there. Unfortunately, I very quickly realized that this was one of those games where you get off your 9 to 5 to get onto your 5 to 9. I get home from work and I crack my knuckles and I get into that grind set. It's one of those games. Also, unfortunately, I did not record anything from the first 3 phases, I believe, because I'm a freaking dingus, dude. I'm a ding dong. Oh, well, I'm kind of upset about it because you guys could have seen my progression of my Barbie Dreamhouse from starting from a shit shack and going up to what I have now. So I'm a little upset about that, but that's okay. You're going to have to walk with me about it, and you're going to have to see my house how it is right now. It honestly was such a treat to start playing the game for the first time and log on to the first cutscene. I mean, look at this. Look at this shit.
Our lives have followed a long path. But eventually, all roads reach their end.
Still each breath.
Now that's beautiful. I was completely and utterly immersed the moment that I went into this world because holy hell, that cutscene goes hard. Oh shit, the world is completely destroyed and I gotta figure out what's going on here. Now, I don't know what a mayfly is quite yet, but I'm ready to figure out to see what that is and why I am one. It was that immediate curiosity that got me into the game in the first place. And then I was able to make my character and make him like a pretty boy version of me, so that was pretty cool. The tutorial got me really quickly into the swing of getting into the game, but of course, I don't have that recorded. I think the beginning cutscene with the siren is such a cool way to introduce your characters to the world and what you guys are supposed to be fighting. Because of course it could be like any zombie game, and there's little zombie dudes walking around and shit. But this was like cryptids and stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. That also brought me back in. It was really cool to be thrown into this world and be forced to watch this creature start to slowly walk towards you, as all you could do is really shoot at it from afar. That made me panic. The cutscenes themselves, before the boss fights, have a perfect amount of tension that add to the scene as you go along to see what is about to jump out at you. And then you're thrown into the boss fight, but before that, you have to sit there and really acknowledge and digest what you're seeing in front of you. Because you fought the doppelgangers before, you vaguely know what's going on here, but you actually get to see what's going on with the actual boss, with this cutscene, and I think just the tension itself, it makes you like tense up, you know? I also think the doppelgangers before the actual boss fight is something so cool because you get to go into these like missions, and then once you're into these missions, you see whatever you're about to fight, and you fight it for a little bit, whatever. It's really easy peasy, but you get to see what you're about to fight against, and then actually going into the actual scene and seeing how all the mechanics go tenfold for this boss fight, I think is a really cool touch. Not even to mention, the first time that you actually do fight the actual boss, it's really cool to like go on your toes to see what you're going up against and to see what kind of strategies you have to use against this thing. And also, in tandem, you can grind out these bosses, and very, very quickly it kind of becomes like a speed run. You know what ticks what and what you need to do to continue the boss fight. You kind of already know what to expect, so it's straight up muscle memory once you go on from there. I love that you can grind the bosses in this game as well, because honestly, some of my favorite moments come from this. Me and my friends and my partners will just shoot the shit and kind of hang out and do this boss fight, as we all kind of already know how to do the boss fights. And we always put a YouTube video on the side, so we're sitting here watching the YouTube video and just chilling with whatever is going on and fighting this boss together. It's really nice. I know I could go up to my best friend Michael and say, hey man, want to run the most recent boss fight over and over for hours while we get high out of our minds and speak about anything and everything, having a deep heart to heart while we attack these ethereal creatures? Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's send it.
We also try to run boss fights that are so clearly for more than 2 people, but it's always so fun to go into these fights. LEA Labs, that's the one that we kind of go into, and we got our cheeks clapped the first time that we did it, I won't lie. And you know what, that's alright. It's okay that we got our cheeks clapped, because I love that guy, and hanging out with him is a treat. But holy hell did we get our cheeks clapped. It was really rough. My favorite boss fight has to be the Monolith of Thirst. I love that dog. I named him Gerald. That's my dog. When me and Michael first ran it, it was just the 2 of us, and the first time he did his ball attack where he like jumps into the air and turns into a ball, we didn't know how to really continue that. And so each time we would kind of just like look up at it and be like, wow, that's a pretty ball. I wonder what's going to happen there. Surely nothing bad's going to happen. And then we'd get both knocked out. And eventually we did learn that you have to kind of shoot the ball, you know, like a boss fight. But, you know, it's a learning curve, you know what I mean? I also think the lore leading up to this guy was really enticing, even though the guy who, like, did all the bad shit with this shadow dog is the most suspicious man I have ever seen in my entire life. But that's okay, because walking up to him, you're like, okay, there's something very obviously wrong with you. You are not a good guy. But actually going into that and going into new areas and seeing the doppelgangers and, like, understanding why he's a bad guy was pretty cool. I do think that this game has kind of a hard time keeping the bad guys hidden, you know? That's foreshadowing for later. It was almost like clockwork, honestly, once we started getting into the boss fight and doing it after we got over the ball incident. We absolutely shredded his health every single time. It's interesting how you can kind of predict everything with the battle that's going out. And I also really like the fact that the part where both of his shoulders gain the weakness and everything of him is immune, and you have to shoot both of his shoulders to actually get to the boss himself to do more damage. I think that's really cool because it ends up becoming more of a one person has to stay on the left at all times and one person has to stay on the right at all times. Honestly, I think I just kind of have a soft spot for this boss fight in general because it's the boss fight that I was mostly fixated on the game. So we kind of ran this one a lot, and it just has a lot of good memories of me being sick as hell and then going and doing this boss fight with the people that I love. So it was really nice. I also really like this one because I feel like in pro mode in this game, specifically for the boss fights, can either go really good or really bad. There's more foreshadowing. But with this one, I think it does it pretty good because it's the initial boss fight itself, and then you get like the 2 little dogs on the side, and of course it gets more health, it does more damage, whatever. But the fact that it's so simple like that is really nice because in the normal boss fight, there are like these dimension doors and it shoots you on the other side of the map. So you can get away from the boss fight. Once I actually got into pro, it actually kind of went into play because in normal mode, you can kind of just shoot it, you know, kind of shred it. But in pro, you actually have to use these strategies to actively get away from this thing because 1, you only have 1 adrenaline, and 2, that thing will get you. Yeah, the doors on pro, when used correctly, you can, don't look at that. Don't look at that. When used correctly, it can be a really good mechanic to involve yourself in the battle more. My least favorite fight for sure is the Forsaken Monolith. Me and that dude have beef. We go way back. Now, this is what I call Google Gaga crying about it. Because y'all already know that my videos are about yapping. Me yapping. You already know. You've been here. You know the scene. But I got a Google Gaga baby bitch about this real quick. It's the one thing that maybe Goo Goo Gaga bitch. I think the boss fight is really cool. The thought and the concept of the boss fight itself is super duper cool. Hell, the cutscene going into the boss fight is my absolute favorite, hands down. It is so creative, and I love the ambiance that it sets for the entire scene. I really think that they could have taken this idea and just fully run with it. But unfortunately, the mechanics of this boss fight are the most annoying in my opinion. I think it's really silly that you can only attack the weak points, and like I understand the weak points are a really important part of every single boss fight, but the fact that every single part of the boss that isn't a weak point only does 10 points of damage when I am on a gold gun, fully calibrated, like I got full gold armor, all that shit, you know what I mean? It feels like my efforts aren't rewarded, you know? I also think that the weak points take a little bit to spawn in, and I don't like that either. A lot of this boss fight is kind of just running around and waiting for the boss to actually do something before you can actively do something back, which sucks. I think the biggest beef that I have with it is the hand swipe. It has an attack where its hand turns glowy, right? And it goes from one side of the arena all the way to the other side of the arena. No matter how fast you are, you cannot run from one side to another. You can also not really tell what hand it's gonna be, so you could be on the left side and be completely fucked if it's going on the left side. And I don't know if this is a me problem, and I haven't seen that it, like, I don't know, has some sort of like tell on what side it's gonna be, but I haven't seen it. All I see is he puts his little hands to his tummy, and then it turns glowy, and then he fucking swipes me. He smacks my ass, you know?
Oh.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
I feel really bad too, because my girlfriend's first time going into this boss fight, we went into hard mode. Oh baby! We shouldn't have done that. Did you know that in the boss fight, it's really cool in concept, where the boss will disappear completely and it will target a character. And there are 3 little platforms, like a theater stage. And you run around this theater stage, and depending on which one that you land on, the boss will spawn back and it will like land its fist down. And that's really cool. I think it's a really cool mechanic. Did you know that if you fall and that thing like goes away completely, you can't come back? What? I think that's kind of silly. I understand it. Like, you're kind of in the void when that happens. Like, can't really come back from the void. But I think that the game should give the people a chance to actually try it if you do fall. Because, unfortunately, there was another time where it was very scuffed. I don't know how they fell, but my girlfriend fell again. And you just kind of have to sit there and spectate everyone. I felt so bad. Also, Kiki, you took that like a champion. If I was in your shoes, I would have fucking lost it. So you did an amazing job taking that out. Doing it on pro is even worse. Can you believe it? We finally got the whole squad together. We got Timmy, Michael, Kiki, me. We go into this boss fight. We do it on pro, and as you can kind of already tell, I already have problems with this boss fight. It's not my favorite. On the normal mode, on the hard mode, just really not my favorite. Actively going into the pro one, I have not had... Oh, how do I even word this? I have not had that little amount of fun in a boss fight this entire game. Like, I was doing great. I was doing dandy on these other boss fights on pro. Like, even if I'm losing, I'm having a great time. This is the kind of boss fight that you lose in, and you also have a bad time. But that's okay. That's okay, because it was kind of funny in the long run, and I can't help but think about it now and laugh when I look at the video that I took of us doing the boss fight. It's kind of funny. In a certain part of the first boss fight, on normal, these little portals will open up, and these enemies will come through. Alright, easy, I can get rid of them. It's the Arbiters. They're bigger boss fights, they're elite bosses, or elite enemies. Pretty easy to wipe out, honestly. If you have a good enough gun, easy peasy, whatever. On pro, they are immune. Would you believe it? Yeah, they're immune. And from my knowledge, the only way to get rid of their immunity is to run under where the boss is about to smack its hand and have the Arbiter follow you and get smashed. It's really cool in theory, I won't lie. it's really cool in theory, and I think it's a very clever way to do it, but I felt like it happened so rarely that it was kind of a waste. It more felt like the boss fight wasn't hard, but it was just a nuisance. It felt like the Arbiters were more of an invincible fly that I couldn't swat. So that was a really bad time. Yeah, here's like a compilation or whatever of us doing the boss fight, because I have a lot of shit on that. So, here you go, have fun. Oh my god. Oh my god, how'd you fucking die? I'm so... Oh god. Oh. Oh.
What's this gas? What's this noxious gas? Thank you. I died again.
He's swiping, he walked out.
Thank you.
You gotta get up, man. I don't know what to tell you. Get up! Get up!
Thank you. This sucks. This is awful. This is terrible. Whose idea was this?
That sucks. I agree.
This is miserable.
Oh god.
Hello.
What the fuck? Why are they immune? Okay. It's okay,
Where's the noxious gas?
no, it's fine. This is smoke bomb.
He died.
Oh my god.
He fucking died, dude. Get me out of the fucking
Thank you.
noxious gas.
That's cool.
Why can't I attack the arbiters? Dude! Are you dead serious?
Oh, this stinks. Oh, this stinks.
Oh!
Yeah. Me and you got smacked together.
Together forever. Baby girls that are smacked together, stay together. I'm choosing to ignore these arbiters. They aren't here. They don't serve a purpose. Oh my god. It's just like we have two big pit bulls chasing after. Fuck, get away from me! Please don't. Okay. Okay. Swipe. He's gonna swipe.
It's swiping! No, I'm over. It's over. No, I'm done. No!
Got me off the map. He got me off the map, guys. He got me off the map. I'm fucked.
My poor cookie. I'll be joining you soon, no doubt.
Oh, please don't come after me.
I can't believe it. I'm off. I'm out. I'm off. I'm off. I'm off. I'm off.
Is my girl off too?
Morgan. Morgan.
Oh. Okay.
No. Morgan,
Okay.
you can do half. See, we did all that and we did half the damage. I think you can finish.
This fucking boss fight sucks so bad. What?
Oh no, everyone get away from me. Morgan, get the fuck away from me.
You're running towards me. I don't know what you want from me. Every piece of armor I own is broken on my body.
That's crazy.
Stop.
Oh my lord.
Ow.
Oh, watch out! Swipe.
Oh. Are you
Oh.
joking?
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I'm coming.
Don't worry about it. Oh.
Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone.
All of my armor is like red.
Yeah, mine's not doing too hot either.
Like I'm not even wearing armor at this point technically. I'm naked on the battlefield.
Yeah, red thingy.
Squirting.
You squirt?
Squirting, period. He's squirting, period.
Okay. Uh-oh. Hey guys. You brought a friend over.
Don't talk about it, don't
Thank
talk
you.
about it, don't talk about it, don't talk about it.
Okay. My head is in. He picked Tim up and then fucking knocked him down on me. It is. All my armor's red. I get fucking blown. I'm done. I'm like a breeze in the. His belly!
His belly!
I need him dead yesterday. I need to be released from this hell.
This is bad. Whose fucking idea was this?
Wipe.
No, he's dead! Never back down, never what? Never back down, never what?
Never back down, never what?
Jimmy said pumpkin, I said I'm staring at the face of danger. I'm going down either way. Alright, we've stopped the Goo Goo Gaga bitch station. We're back. Following that negative review up, I think that the concept for this boss fight is really fucking cool. The cutscene following to the boss fight is absolutely the best, because going into even the area that you start spawning together, you slowly start hearing Swan Lake in this theater room, and I think the ambiance is so fucking cool that you step into, and you finally get into the boss fight, and you see these little flower dudes. They're all these guys. And they're doing ballerina dancing, and I think the cutscene is so beautiful because it's going between these dudes that you know because you've played as one of the characters in the game to get away from these dudes. They're very scary. I don't like them at all. They have the concept of like a coil head where you have to look at them, and if you don't look at them, they move. I hate it. I hate it so much. But it's a really, really cool concept, and I really like these guys. They're really fucking cool. And they're dancing together, and you see the cinematography as it all kind of like goes together, and it like leads together, and once it gets to the last one, and it kind of like sits down and like does a little ballet thing. I don't know ballet, so I don't know what it's called. And then you slowly see that there's a bigger boss behind the scenes, obviously. That's really cool. More of that, please. Man, it would have been really cool to have these guys in the middle of the boss fight. I also really like the mechanic of him disappearing and getting his hand and smacking into whatever plate that you're going against and like targeting a player. Because I remember the first time that it happened to me, I told you, me and this dude have beef. We go way back. He always targeted me, just running away from whatever was gonna happen. But getting further and further into the boss fight and seeing that the more that he smashed his hand, it would go away. And I remember the first time on hard doing it with my girlfriend, I remember being the last one alive because they had fallen. I remember thinking, oh shit, the middle one's out. If this one's out, we're dead. Like, we're done. We can't recover from this. And I think that's a really cool moment. I think the mechanic is really, really fucking cool. I won't lie, the first time that it happened to me, I remember going through the 5 stages of grief in like 2 seconds and like pausing mid-game and my girlfriend being like, do this, do that, do this, do that. I was going through it, man. I was scared. Now the LEA Labs was something else. That picked me up like a little kitten on the scruff and smacked my butt. I won't lie. It smacked my butt multiple times. Painfully. I ran these with Michael first off, if you remember from earlier in the video, but we also got Kiki to finally do this, and we actually did it, which was really cool. It was really stressful, but we finally got through to it. I adore how the dungeon is shown to you, where it's like, you learn first, and then it's the actual boss fight. You learn another mechanic, and then it's the boss fight practicing that mechanic. And leading up to the final boss fight, I thought that was sick, because you had to use everything that you learned from the past dungeons to go into this boss fight. I thought the mechanics were really smart, and I was high off my ass the first time that we completed it, and it felt like I was being attacked by a million other things, and I was, because it felt like there was a million things to do, and there were. First it was shoot the boss. Okay, she's immune. Alright, we gotta get the disciple now. Okay, once you get the disciple, fuck, there's another disciple. Get him first. And then you get the ball, and then you hit the thing, and it just felt like a million things to do at once. It was even worse when the dogs were introduced. In between everything that I just said, it would have to be kill the dogs and run away from her attack, the main boss's attack, because she would just throw these fucking bombs at you. It was crazy. But the thing is, with this boss fight, unlike some other boss fights that I had mentioned, unlike that feeling of being like, oh man, this feels so unfair, like why am I playing this? This just feels unbalanced. It was much rather a, okay, that was definitely my fault, and I can learn from that. We played it a couple times, which was really fun. We were able to kind of go through it and kind of get the rhythm of it, but I kind of fell off the game, and now we're here doing the script for the game. I was playing Mario, and I was trying to watch him solo it. It was rough, dude. I always knew that he had it because he's like the big brother that you pass the remote to when you're having trouble in the game. You pass that shit over and he beats it for you. He carried me. He carried me when we played it the first time. Thank you, Michael. This is a call out for you. And actually, as an update, as I was writing this script on 10/04/2024, he fucking got it. He got it and then immediately got down. But it was alright. He respawned and he got the reward. So, you can solo the dungeon. It is possible. And Michael did it because he's the fucking GOAT. Now, I think the lore is pretty cool too. I'll be honest, I'm kind of turning into an MMO player where I kind of just skip right past the lore. But from what I did learn, I thought it was pretty cool. But unfortunately, remember when I called myself a ding dong back then? Dingus, dude, I'm a ding dong. I was right. Because the most intense thing that I liked in the lore happened in Phase 2. Specifically with Mary. I'm kind of a sucker for, like, post-apocalyptic shit. So, like, zombies is my jam. But I love this game because it introduces so many different kind of threats in this world. Like, the elite bosses are so cool. Even the normal bosses that wander around the world, I think they're amazing. It's so unique. And it introduces new ideas. Like, of course there's a weatherman that are 3 girls with 3 TV heads that float in the air and control the weather. Of course, duh. And of course there's this fucking big guy with like 5 balloons for heads and you gotta pop them. Why not? And honestly, as we were kind of saying earlier, I kind of saw Mary being evil like miles away. Because you talk to her in Phase 1 and you're like, okay, cool, you get to like understand this character a little bit more. Whatever. But once you kind of like get further and further in the story, she gets more and more suspicious. She just knows too much. So they show you a cutscene where they're in an airplane and this person is showing up and destroying the airplane. And once you finish the cutscene, this little creature is like, oh yeah, their name was Mary. And you're like, is it our Mary? And they go, I'm gonna chalk it up to a coincidence. Like, what? Okay, but the actual moment that Mary kind of showed up with Manibus, I thought was so fucking cool. It was so sick, because she shows up this entire, like, villain monologue, and then she starts, like, talking, and the red's behind her, and then you look up at the sky, and you see the Manibus, like, come down and, like, try to take over the world. I think that was sick as fuck. That was really, really cool. The first time that I actually saw Manibus, it was fucking scary as shit because I was mining ore, I was minding my own business, I was chill as fuck, and then all of a sudden there was a big boss bar that showed up right behind me, and I won't lie, I got real scared.
Okay.
What the fuck? He's in the sky.
Who's in this?
Manibus. Manibus. What the fuck? It's coming out of the sky. Oh.
Why do I hear boss music? That's
Why
boss
do I hear
music.
boss music?
And then I tried to get there, but you can't really climb like over walls, like big mountain walls. And it took me like 10 minutes to actually get there. But we got to it eventually, and we got to fight it. And I think Manibus is a really, really cool boss fight. I really like the mechanics of it. I think the only thing that's kind of disappointing is that it isn't much of a threat. Because, okay, if it hits you with its attack that, like, shoots, it's so slow, though. It comes at you so slowly, you can just move out of the way. You kind of just sit and spot, and on the hand, they have these little flowers, like right here, all over the hand. You have to attack those weak points. You attack those weak points, and there are 3 hands with 3 separate health bars. So you kind of just alternate between the 3 hands so that you can finally get it down. It was really a chill boss fight to get into. You see it spawned on the map. You'd go over there and you'd get it. You get your rewards. But I won't lie. I told you already, but I kind of became an MMO player when playing this game. I would go straight past the lore. And it's not that it wasn't, like, intriguing. It was just that the game became more of a mechanics game more than a lore game for me. Like, this wasn't my Red Dead Redemption 2. This is more of like a, I don't know, fucking Tetris to me. I don't know. It was all fun and games until you had to play as that guy named Ted. Remember when I talked about the coil head mechanic? It was all that. It was you playing as this dude and going through this world and like trying to break free in this cutscene, but there were multiple of those creatures that you had to look at so that they wouldn't attack you. And I remember being there for quite a while. Michael had to unfortunately sit there with me as I goo goo gaga baby bitched. But it was fun to get through, you know? And I think that cutscene where it's actually kind of scary for me was really cool to put into, because the game kind of feels like a horror game, but I hadn't been very scared since that point. So that definitely scared the shit out of me, I won't lie. And the gameplay. I really enjoy the gameplay. This kind of game is those games where you can get into it and you can play it for multiple reasons. There's something for everybody in these kind of games, and I eat that up. I could start looting out in the streets like a little rat if I wanted to. I could turn my brain off, become a rat. I could eat some preserved deviated chops too, and I could just go kill things for acid. That's another turn off my brain and go do something for a couple hours just to gather that sweet acid that you always need. I could eat a canned seafood oil and just mine and talk to my friends and really chill out and not be too stressed about anything. Yet. What the fuck? I could do hours of Barbie Dreamhouse. I could build my own house. It's my Barbie Dreamhouse. That's the most fun. I could go out and tame animals. I could get a capybara if I wanted to. I could make a zoo in my backyard. Or I could just put them in a box. I could also go fishing for hours and then hold a little fish next to my face. Like a Tinder profile, like a white man on Tinder. It was really nice too because I was playing with the entire group, and as we kind of got further in the game, we placed our bases in like the beginning area, the second area, and the third area. It was really nice. It was like we were moving all together like we were in Ice Age. This gameplay is absolutely my bread and butter too, because I love when games have multiple things that you can do, because you can do one thing, and if you get bored of that one thing, you can move on to another thing. Personally, I kind of switch between playstyles, but one that I always kind of come back to is Barbie Dreamhouse. Barbie Dreamhouse is a phrase that my group uses for when we're playing a game like this, like Raft, Ark, State of Decay 2, stuff like that. Games where you can actively build your base and make it look how you want. That's Barbie Dreamhousing, babe. You can build up your house and make it a home, you know? Make this house a home. Live, laugh, love. One thing I will say is that I love that you can just move your base. In other games, you can build somewhere and that kind of just stays there. And you actively can leave, but you have to move everything or like leave stuff there. In this game, you can just straight up pick up your base and put it wherever you want. And I love that. The only struggle that I found with the Barbie Dreamhousing in this game is that sometimes my base would be a little too high, or it'd be like way too low to where the ground was kind of clipping into my place. But other than that, I really like the Barbie Dreamhousing in this game. I really like that you can actively get furniture and shit. I like it. This is one of those games that I just feel so badass. And I think that's really good mechanics and gameplay. If I go into a game and there's fighting in it, and I actively feel like I'm a superhero, I'm in. I'm sold. I am sold. In this game, they reward you. The more that you level up, the easier it is, the more badass you feel, kind of a thing. Some games, the combat can be really fucking clunky and just not fun at all to play. It's more of like a buggy wasteland when you play it. But this game is really smooth. I feel actively really nice when I'm playing this game and I'm fighting the enemies. The driving also tickles my brain a little bit in this game. I love driving my motorcycle. I think it's my favorite part of the entire game because I feel so badass when I'm driving on the streets and I'm actually driving well. I really like to Akira drift too. It's all fun in games until my vehicle is in combat and I have to wait for it to be actively out of combat to actually get on it again. That is a game changer. Unlocking the car, absolutely a game changer. It is completely different from the motorcycle. It is a buggy mess. You drift one way a little bit too much, you're flying, you're gone. And you know what? I hope they never change it because I never have this magic. Once human's never gonna catch me. They're never gonna take my license away. One part of the mechanics in the game that I kind of actively disliked was the animal taming, because I got into the game, all the animals looked the same. And I was alright with that. I really like animal taming. Ark is one of my favorite games that is all taming. I believe in phase 4 or 5, it was updated so that all the animals look a bit different and you can breed them together. That's the shit I like. And I had gotten a bunch of animals that I really enjoyed and really liked, and I thought the taming process was kind of slow but worth it in the end. like Ark, but I grew to really dislike it, unfortunately, because I was playing and every time that I logged off, it would be a 50-50 gamble if my animals were actually there waiting for me. And one day I logged on and my animals were just fucking nowhere to be seen. The only one that was seen was my fully tamed deer. She stuck around. Love you. I had a level S deer. He was gonna be my best friend, and now we'll never have that chance. I also had a capybara. I will not forgive you on that. It's really nice too playing with both of my partners because they both kind of gotten into it a little bit later in the game. So me and Michael were actively playing. So I had better equipment than them. So it was really nice to kind of just walk with them with my better armor, my better guns, and be a guard dog. I felt like a Rottweiler when I was with them. It's genuinely a good game. I really enjoy Once Human. It has that kind of repetitive gameplay like Ark or State of Decay 2 where you actively start from the bottom and you continue to build your way up from like looting, building, gathering resources, all that shit like that. That tickles my brain. That's my favorite. I love that shit. There's something about that progression that actively tickles my monkey brain whenever it happens because it is so engaging for me. The options and repetitiveness are hands down my favorite. It makes me so happy. I wonder why. And I won't lie, they got me with that battle pass, but they'll never get me with those microtransactions where I can't actively get what I want. The battle pass is the only one that they get me on. You can't catch me gambling. You can't. I won't. I shan't. I really like all of the cosmetics too that come out for the battle pass. Yes, I am a sucker. Every time that I get a new cosmetic, I feel like I'm playing Dress to Impress actively in this game. I also really like matching with my partners because I think that's really cute. And yes, of course, Once Human has its bugs, and sometimes my computer is taking a shit, and 800 ping will save me one day. And it's alright, it happens in game. Even then, I feel like the developers of the game actively kind of listen to the community and actively send out multiple patches to fix these bugs and to kind of further improve the game. And I really appreciate it. I really like it. One thing I will say though is that my loading screens take forever, but that is not a game problem. That's a me problem. It's my Wi-Fi. The main thing that I can see myself relishing with this game too is I know I'm gonna remember it. I'm gonna remember playing with my partners. I'm gonna remember playing with my best friend and having a really fun time in this game. For the past couple of weeks, it's just been us playing this game, kind of getting on after whatever work that we had, whatever day that we had, and just laughing and having fun and chilling and doing whatever we want. Like I said, the game has kind of everything for everyone. So we all just kind of did our own things and hung out while we did so. Honestly, Once Human actively reminds me what I think multiplayer games should be about. It's about that playing with friends and having that fun. And I think it does a really great example of that multiplayer experience. Logging into Once Humans is one of those games where I can log on and then I can take pictures of my long distance friends and it feels like we're in our own Barbie Dreamhouse. It feels like we're all connected, we're all together. And I really thank the devs and all the people that made the game to make that happen. Yeah, I really like this game. And honestly, it's kind of what a best case scenario would be like to live with all those goofballs. With all that said and done, I am done yapping about this season. I might make a new one about next season, but there's no promises on that. I'm not promising shit. So like, comment, and subscribe. And have a good day. Thank you for listening.